Welcome back, everybody, to Corona Geek, the place on the internet where we talk all about mobile app development using Corona SDK. I'm your host, Charles McKeever, and I'm joined in the studio here by Eric Kinkead. Hi, Eric.
Hello, how you doing?
Eric is the developer of Questlord, a hit RPG game for iOS and Android, and he's also a lover of all things geek, as evidenced by his Gandalf shirt. Also joining us is Brian Burton. Brian's down in Abilene. He's the author of several books on Corona SDK, and he's also a professor who teaches his students using Corona SDK. So, hello, Brian.
Hello. Good to see everybody.
Also joining us is Ed Maurina, owner of Roaming Gamer LLC, where he develops libraries, templates, and other products for use with Corona SDK. Thanks for joining us, Ed.
Thank you.
And last but not least, Matthew Chapman is a Corona ambassador, certified Corona developer, owner of Origin Technologies, and a mobile development company based in Orlando, Florida. How's the weather down in Florida, Matthew?
I knew you were going to ask that. I don't know how I knew you were going to ask that. It's sunny. I decided not to do this by my pool to make you feel bad.
Oh.
But I will next week.
Man, I appreciate that. I'm about ready for some sunshine and stuff here.
Exactly.
Oh, let's not forget Dean.
Yeah, Dean.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I went for
second last lap.
I'm sorry, Dean. You're jumping in here as a guest, as a last minute, and your write-up's not here. I'm sorry, man. So yeah.
That's all right. No worries.
So Dean Murphy is also a in and off show regular and a developer of many great Corona developed apps. And you just had what? Which one went free?
I launched a free version of NumberTap to help promote the full version.
Yeah, absolutely. NumberTap. So if you are, is that on iOS, on Android, or just iOS?
Just iOS for now.
Oh man, that's too bad. I mean, it's iOS. It's. I mean, for the people who are on Android, it sucks for them because the iOS version is awesome, man.
I'm sensing a theme here.
What's your sensing a theme? I didn't say that Android sucks. I said it sucked for them.
Oh, cut that part out later.
Wait, but you made it free now?
Yeah.
No, I launched a free version, like a stripped down version.
Oh, then you can put it on Android now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can build.
Yeah,
build for it. But since you're using Corona, you could build for it, and put it on Android. Yeah.
It goes back to the topic before of Android versus iOS and dollars coming in.
Oh, you're trying to.
If you have the free version, you might as well put it on Android now.
And you use it as a marketing tool.
Exactly.
Well, okay. Well, that's a whole conversation for another day. So I think we should move on quickly.
That's terrible.
All right, so we've got some announcements going on here. Let's move into our announcements. So we've got. I think we talked about this last time that Build 2.0 is now a part of the daily builds, which is a yeah, right. And basically what that means is that Build 2.0 is kind of paving the way for plugins. So Project Gluon, that whole thing. If you haven't read about that, check out the Corona Labs website for it. But essentially being able to have all these additional third-party services available as plugins. So Build 2.0 is out there, and we're pretty excited about it. And it's one of those things that's kind of under the hood. It doesn't really make a big difference to most people, but it is some exciting stuff that's coming down the road.
What build number is it? What?
Well, it's build. We're calling it Build 2.0. So essentially, it's the build process is exactly the same, but under the hood, the infrastructure is being put in place to support plugins and all that kind of stuff. So
right. Because I stopped at 1031.
Okay.
Right before widget. No, I can't do that. This is more complicated than that, fella. See, widget 2.0 is where I had to stop. And a lot of times you have to stop with software if you go legacy. So I've had to stop right up to that point. I haven't really been able to put those additions in, but that's interesting. And
yeah.
Do you know what build number it is around? Is it around like 1,000?
We're at 1079 or 1074.
Okay,
yes.
I'm about 40 or 50 away from this. Okay.
Yeah,
Just checking.
Yeah.
I always like to keep what relation to build number I'm at to the.
Yeah, I think it was 1060 or 1061 or somewhere in there that it actually
I think it was 1060-ish.
Yeah.
We're at 1074 now.
Right.
Why did you have to stop for widget? Did you have to stop for widget 2.0? Is that what the problem was?
Yeah, I did. They had an issue where the text would be pushed up a bit, and so I put in the widget 1s, I think, with Tresser, Calvin Cox. He helped me with it. Actually, it was really awesome. Do you guys know him? Great guy. So he was helping me with making my text, because when I first started my game, I think we're getting too far. Is there any other announcements?
Go on the show. It's okay.
No, it's good stuff.
Okay, good. Okay, so I had to stop because for some reason widget 2.0 broke widget 1. You couldn't go back.
Right.
Yeah.
But it's really cool because in Questlord you can like scroll with your fingers on text, and that was like something I really wanted to do.
Yeah, right.
Because before that it was like my game was old school, but man, was it old school. You hit a button and it would like print line 1, line 2, line 3, line 4. And it was pretty interesting too because I saved a lot of the actual code from another fellow of mine from Glitch Games. They offer great code. I'm a huge fan of Glitch Games. Everyone go out and get your GG libraries now because they're awesome. You can get them on GitHub, but it's Glitch Games, and those guys made Rosetta, it was called, and it was one of the first. It was pre-GG Dictionary, right? So I set a lot of my text up off of that, and I saved a ton of time. What I did is I cross-referenced keys a lot, and to cross-reference a key, what you can do is like say, instead of like translating the word "this is a dog," or how about player 1 start? Instead of translating player 1 start, you can translate something like player 1 start level something. Like what is the actual level? Like make a string out of those two things, and then send that to your GG dictionary, and then you can type in a huge story behind it. You know, you're not restricted with this is my text. So it's almost like I created a key system with GG dictionary. And but all these little, if you've ever played my game Questlord, you should probably look it up. I'm gonna change my screen to it real quick. So you can probably see that there's a lot of inherent systems that are super delicate. And once you start jumping on once I start jumping on every new Corona update, I have system issues. That's why I've locked it off.
Yeah, and we've talked about this before, is the fact that the daily builds are available out there for anyone who wants to do the bleeding edge type of stuff. But at some point, it does make sense to kind of freeze the which build you're going to work with. Have that production build, and then when you can move to the next whatever it is, then you can kind of take that leap forward to the next thing. But if it doesn't make sense to do it, then it just doesn't make sense to do it. So. Yeah, the widgets 1.0, widgets 2.0 was a complete rewrite of widgets, so it was a divergence from 1.0. So that's why we open sourced widgets 1.0 so that people could still get access to it and use it because it was going to be completely different than before. So.
Yeah, and the one thing about working on the game that took me so long because so basic information I'm sure a lot of Corona users might want to know about Questlord, or like my sales and such, and how many units. I think that it was really nice because when I was working on this game, I spent 13 months on this game, and then it started during a real grueling unemployment process, and I could not get a job in the traditional field that I'm used to getting the job in. Like most people can go get a job if they're trained in oil down here in Houston, Texas, but you can't get a job in Houston, Texas if you're trained in making video games. And I've been making video games for a very long time. My head's in NBA Jam Tournament Edition. You guys probably remember NBA Jam. Like my first job, I looked at a prototype for a Van Damme game. It turned out to be Mortal Kombat, and that was in an arcade coin-op. So making video games is my life. It's what I do, and I'm able to do it. And I'm very blessed to do it since I was 16, like 20-something years. So a lot of my product is spent with a lot of my time on it. Not to say I didn't look for a job, mind you. I had some callbacks and interviews with like great companies like Zynga and such. But I was
little places.
Yeah, little places, tiny places. But I never actually got through the door. because it's so packed right now. Everyone makes games. Everyone's a game maker. And, you know, I could see this coming, and, you know, I've got my crazy harebrained ideas about where I think games are going in the future. But I knew where I was right then, and so in between looking for jobs and sending out the resume and doing that stuff, I embarked on a game called Questlord. And before, I had no idea what it was going to be. I had no idea what the game was going to be. I was sitting in a restaurant with my now fiance, and we were talking about different types of games we were going to make. And we decided, you know, oh, how about like a little frog that you take care of kind of game. And that was like, you know, I didn't really want to do too much of that because it seemed very, I don't know, common and stuff. But I worked on it. I decided, you know what, instead of take care of a frog, it'll be take care of a dragon. I'll make it real bright. I'll make it colorful, and I'll do something that basically is something that would be very popular for a lot of people. And I tried to put myself in what it was that was popular. And then I realized, you know what, that's not what I want to do, because I was playing Ultima 3 on, you know, like the old arcade, or the old DOS version of Ultima 3. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the old RPGs from like way back in the 80s.
Like Zork?
Like Zork.
I loved Zork, man. That was awesome.
Wizardry. Yeah, and Zork had the best graphics in the world. No, it did, because they were your graphics in your mind.
Okay,
they
good.
Were your graphics.
Okay, all right.
They were your graphics.
Okay, I was like, no.
So they were the best graphics.
Yeah.
It's like, because everyone wants to imagine stuff, and when they imagine something, they're like, wow, I imagined that, and it was great, because I imagined it. Or, you know what I'm saying?
Sure.
So I think that, and that exactly hits on what I was doing. I was playing these emulators of these old school games that I grew up with, and I was like, you know, the fun is still here. I'm still enjoying this. And then I'd be like, okay, now I'll go back to my Corona thing I'm going to do. What am I going to do? It's like, this is not what I want to do. So real quickly, I got together a system, and I would say in about 3 days, I had Questlord working. You know, I had Questlord working, and I had it, you know, kind of roaming around and stuff like that. And it was fantastic. It was fun. And then I knew exactly like what I was going to be doing. I knew from that point that that's what I was going to work on. So then I had to figure out how long it was going to take. And it was pure denial that I was going to finish this thing in like 2 months, right? I was going to finish it in like 2 months. It's got to be 2 months because I'm going to make it simple. But then feature creep started coming in. But I was at a point where like I wasn't in a company, so feature creep was kind of cool because it's just me, right? And I was just like, okay, well, I'll make some little backgrounds, I'll make some little characters, and I'll make the monster, and I'll make the monster kind of just pop up in front of you, like the early predecessors, like the way predate Dungeon Master, and it was going to just pop up in front of you, and then you were going to be in fighting mode. And then I was like, well, what if I give it an XY out, since it's in a table, it prints it all up into a map. Why don't I just give it an XY? And when I did that, that led into, oh my God, I got to have characters that actually physically live in the Earth hard, that they inhabit.
So what you're telling us is that you had this all well planned out before you even started the first line of code.
Not exactly, right? But the thing is, though, since I was like 16 years old, I have been making games kind of like of this nature for the Atari ST. So it was really kind of like a no-brainer to do for a lot of this stuff for me. I think I had an advantage of a lot of the RPG elements were already done in my brain when I was younger.
Gotcha.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no.
So like this game was like kind of a little bit easier in that respect.
So how long have you been using Corona SDK? I mean, when was this?
Oh, that was in November 11th when that 2011 when that happened. November 2011.
Okay.
That's when I started, and I was searching for different SDKs, right? Because I've been doing games professionally for like 25 plus years, you know, and I'm not just throwing it out there, but I got a lot of experience and a lot of cool stories to go along with it.
You're right.
But all the other SDKs, like I looked into Game Salad, just wasn't needy enough as far as the programming. You know, and then I looked into Unity, and it was like, whoa, okay, that might be a little too early on the programming for me. So I'm just kind of just getting back into programming. And and then I looked at the visual, like iOS Visual. See, what is that called? Visual. It's this crazy thing. Xcode. No, what I compile with. I didn't like it at all. It was too much. Like, and I didn't even really equate that it wasn't portable, because I was actually programming in native iOS, right? And it just wasn't fun. So then I needed something more fun. Game Salad was too light, but Corona was like just right. The programming was nice. Oh, another thing I want to talk about is the IRC channel that Corona has.
Well, hold on.
I don't know if have you guys ever been to it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
There's an IRC channel.
Oh yeah.
That's my answer.
'Cause I don't know if you guys just like hang out on the IRC channel, but that's the one to go to. I mean, those guys are great. Like some of the like Laura's work, she's always jumping on there and showing off her stuff. Chris Evans, his work's fantastic. Of course, Cam's fantastic. And L Kinks, that young man, he's great. I'm not sure which chatters you guys are or not, but yeah, I love that channel. I think that those guys, and Allstain, huge chunk of my game is because of Allstain. Huge chunk of my game is because of a lot of those guys. And we would share each other's ideas and help each other, tell each other, here's what you do, here's what you do. And I announced it like last January, and a lot of those guys have come on to either play test, or some of them don't play test at all anymore. But I put the guys in the game, and that was fun. I think that other resources I did not get as much use out of was like the forum. Didn't get as much use out of the forum as most people do. And I haven't been getting much use out of the Facebook part of the Corona either. A lot of that I think is because it's not about game-driven stuff. Like, people don't like to talk about the actual game. They like to talk about the system of promoting the game and portabilizing the game and capitalizing on the game. And I think that's like way cart before horse, because I think that a lot of it is more just about the game and the craft. Okay. And that's kind of a rant. But other than that, Questlord was something that I can't imagine I would actually suggest a lot of people doing. But in that period of time that I released, I made as much money as I did on unemployment, like almost instantly, within like a couple weeks.
Was it a paid game right from the beginning?
Oh yeah, and it was going to be paid, and it was going to be at a paid standard where you are purchasing this product, and the product will either reward you with a game, or you'll be super mad and you'll go online and say that it didn't. And that pretty much was my my financial marketing plan, if you will. And everyone spoke back really loudly, and they spoke back really loudly in places I didn't even expect it. I love my Android fans. I love them. They are so into my game. And I didn't write off the Android crowd, but I didn't expect it at all. And personally, I think the game is actually an iOS game, because you have the Game Center. And I don't have that kind of option yet with my current Android, because there's no more Open Paint. By the way, he did inquire about a job interview, though, the guy who made Open Paint. Yeah. And I said, no, I'm kind of busy right now. So that's kind of nice. But if you're
gonna use Corona Cloud for the leaderboard and stuff. Have you looked at that yet?
It depends. I have actually looked into it. Right now, I think that I definitely want to stick with Corona for another year or so. I think Corona is fantastic. I think Walter has really picked up the game with making stuff that we actually really need to make good games. Like, a lot of people complain about Corona being able to have this monetization kind of thing going on, but I think that when given room, Walter really makes good decisions for the games, and I really like that. A lot of people's roadmap has been based on the amount of Corona users, though, and I think that's kind of a mistake, because I think that the smallest percent that brings the most quality back with the most numbers should be the ones that get to devote the future of Corona.
Gotcha. I got some questions here for you, and I want to ask, what did you use for the graphics in the game? I mean, how did you?
We just lost Eric.
Did we? Oh, awesome.
Eric just dropped off.
Okay. All right. Everybody want to guess what he used for the game? No, I think that's.
Well, I'm guessing that it was some form of Lime, since he was working with Glitch Games there.
That's a good point. Yeah. No. I've been on the IRC channel as well before, and I like it. I mean, I've received help there as well, so I think that's Dean, if you have a chance to get on there. And I was actually going to look and see here if I can bring my Finder up. I've got an app that works really well with that. Let me look that up. Now, Brian, you said before we get this thing started here, you said the new version of your book was out. So give us some details on that.
Well, I've got 2 announcements to go on books.
Okay.
First of all, the Spanish version of Beginning Mobile Application Development with Corona is now available, and that assumes that you have programming experience. You just are new to Corona. So we got the Spanish version available. It's only available as a PDF, but it is through my website. And then And that
you speak Spanish.
And that you speak Spanish. That would be a big helpful thing.
It's not a requirement, but certainly expedites things.
Right. My high school Spanish is too weak to try and pronounce the title, so I'm not going to do that and embarrass myself. Then I also have the early release of my new textbook, which assumes absolutely no programming background and actually teaches you to program by making mobile applications.
Okay.
So that's been an area of a lot of interest. I've gotten a lot of feedback from people wanting that type of book, and the early release is available, and it should be finalized by early this summer.
Very good. Excellent. Are we back? Eric, we can't hear you, Eric.
Oh, we've lost your voice again.
He's probably doing you April Fools on us.
April Fools! I'm sorry, I don't know what part of that ranting that I lost you guys in. What was I going on again? What was I
your audio started to drop out.
Okay, what was I babbling about?
That's okay. Let's move on though, because I got some questions for you, and I want to be sure we cover everything. So.
Oh yeah.
So how did you create the graphics for the game? Because it seems like there's all this maze.
I drew them.
There's all this maze action going on, and
sure.
I'm interested.
You want to know the actual graphics? Because that's kind of a different thing with this. Let me load up some characters. Here's all my characters. Okay. I think you can see little guys in there. It's just you're not going to be able to see details,
right?
But you'll be able to see little guys.
Okay.
All right. Those are my little guys. I made tons of little guys, and I made them in Sprite Lock.
Sprite Lock.
And Don. You guys know Don? Everybody knows Don. Come on. What game did Don work on, panel? He worked on Cannon Cat. Come on, Cannon Cat, guys. You remember Cannon Cat?
Cannon Cat, yeah, I've known that game.
There you go. You remember Sprite Lock?
Yes.
Yes, I've never used it.
That's what he meant. So my game is still in Sprite Lock, believe it or not.
Cool.
But it's fantastic. I love Sprite Lock. So as soon as I got Sprite Lock working, right, because I realized I needed a quick mechanism to sprites. Back in 2011, he was the quick mechanism to sprites. There wasn't Texture Packer. There wasn't any of that stuff. It was Sprite Lock. And Corona was offering a deal on Sprite Lock, So I jumped in there and did the deal, which is fantastic. And then I probably bugged poor Don to death, this doesn't work. How do I do this? And I think at one point he was like, you really need to program. I'm like, I'm learning, And I was really green. But then, after a while, I was able to get the characters done and just draw them as little people, right? And then put them into the world, into a huge table.
Did you?
So it's pretty simple.
Did you spend any time kind of scribbling them out on paper first, or did you do everything?
I did, and I did a lot of that. If you go to my blog, you'll see that I've got a lot of these guys out here. A lot of them, I don't know if we can even see those. It's like little dudes.
Not so close.
Little dudes. And I got a horrible, but it's just on paper.
I got you.
And they're just like little scribbles. And then I'll take those into Photoshop and make them into pixels. And since Sprite Lock works with ActionScript, which is Flash, Sprite Lock has the ability, actually so does Texture Packer, but Sprite Lock was way more advanced. It's still more advanced in the way it sets up stuff. and it's kind of a shame that we're not going to be able to continue Sprite Lock into the future.
It's still available. It's through Amino now. They've changed the name.
Yeah, I'm kind of hesitant to try it, but because I'm on Sprite Lock. But, I mean, are they going to do Sprites 2.0? I mean, are they going to have 2.0 Sprites system?
Oh, I don't know yet. I haven't seen any announcements. I went ahead and upgraded to the Amino, but I haven't seen any announcements yet on how.
Yeah, I should talk to Don because there's serious confusion there. But anyway, so basically, I had this system going of graphics, and I drew out. If you want to know the technical details of how Questlord functions as an engine, it's very simple. It's very simple. What's going on is I've got a bazillion. Let me show you one that's got like a hard printout color. This one looks good. I've got like maps and pages of maps. And there's a map, right?
Yeah.
And what it is just a table. And I made all these tables in my in Tiled. It's another good program. Tiled. Everybody go check out Tiled.
Tiled's awesome.
Yeah, you can export to Lua with Tiled. But I did it in such a hack way that I just exported it and then stripped out the actual table and put it in my table builder. Because I made like this table builder. And the game started getting epic. We started getting like seriously epic where I pull out these maps and stuff. And it got to the point where it's like, oh my god, the game's going to get done in 2 months. The game's going to get done in 2 months. And it was just like complete denial of how long it was actually going to take. But that kind of was actually worked in my favor. Is that just manic denial? And and I would not suggest anyone do this. Anyone do what I do unless they've got a loving family support system that's like, yep, that's what he's doing for such and such a period of time, or they've got a history of doing it, which I'm lucky to have both. So it's like I've, paced around the house, thinking about how I'm going to make dragons and stories and stuff like that.
And how long? And how long did it take? What was the total time?
The entire time, and I include a lot of the actual launch because launch is work. Launch is work. That's the mantra. So when I would say 13 months.
Okay.
13 months from November 11th all the way till February, March-ish. And so I've got a huge book in here, and basically what I did is to get the whole thing going, I created a table, right? And the table is just a map. Like here's 1, there's 64, down to there's 65, and that's just one long huge string of a map. And then, of course, I used the scrolling codes of X and Y. And I even did it so hardcore, I didn't use Y. I just used one variable. Like if it's, if you're at 76, that's probably 64 down plus whatever makes 76. And it's much faster because you're only shooting it through one thing. You're not dealing with an X, you're not dealing with a Y. And so you're just dealing with an XY. And then if you want to go up in the map, it's minus the width. If you want to go down the map, it's plus the width. Super simple stuff, right? Just basic scrolling elements. And so then I made it so that what was in front of you are just a bunch of sprites, okay? They're just a bunch of sprites, and we're going to hang out here. And so what is in the very back is a bunch of panels, west of you, straight in front of you, and east of you, and then the next set of panels, and the next set of panels, and the thing that fell off the desk. And so basically I had all these layers of depth, right? And so then what I did is whatever is in the table, I drew it on the screen as that's what it is at that level, this is what it is at this level, this is what it is at that level. And then I did it for the size of the screen. I hope my visual hand thing is making some sense.
It won't work. It won't translate real well on the podcast, but that's okay.
It won't. Well, basically, what it is. Have you ever seen? Okay, this will explain it great then in layman's terms. When I'm at a party, I can explain it this way. So, have you ever seen like at a soccer game or a football game or in China Olympics? How they hold up cards? They hold up cards and they change colors and they all make one big image.
Yeah.
That makes sense, right? That is exactly what I built with Sprite Lock for Questlord.
Okay.
Does that make sense now?
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like every depth was a person sitting out there with an image that they would flip up. It's called page flipping. It's very basic. And so what I did is I correlated the table right here to match a number or a variable that matched to that image. Okay. And of course they always match up with depth, and they match up if it's a snow wall or a gate or you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So with my code, I was able to organize everything flowing together in like a symphony, so that you could really cruise around this world and stuff. But what's in front of you are actually just sprites that flip to their correct position. Does that make sense?
Okay. So
Yes.
It's very technical, and it's just an old school way of doing something new.
Okay. So how did you pick your? I know you told us about your storyline, and how did you pick your characters? How did you? I mean, you mentioned D&D before. I mean,
well, that was probably the icing on the cake for me, because that is the root of why I did everything, because I wanted to control that, and I wanted people to tell me, "Oh my God, that's terrible." I wanted it to stop with me. You know what I'm saying? Because I got that so much from working in the video game industry. I mean, I worked on pretty much C and B titles my whole life. Well, not really. Towards the beginning, Revolution X, Aerosmith, but still, it was a massive B+ title. Some people would say A-, but it's the Aerosmith video game. And I worked on all these games, and it's like everyone always seemed to have a point of blame in a product. And even myself, when I worked on, like, with Game Titan, I worked on some stuff, I didn't want to have, like, oh, well, the publisher messed that up. Oh, well, so-and-so messed that up. Everything was mine, including the story. And I used the story to drag everyone into the actual world, including elements of the story. And this is kind of confusing, but a lot of people I knew were going to complain about my mapping system. It was already starting, right? And, granted, there's some problems with my mapping system, and it's really old school, but I decided to create Throsden, the character in the game who creates the magic scroll. So in my game, you click and you have a magic scroll that comes up, and there's always problems with it. Well, every problem that you don't like about it, you can find in the story, especially the library. If you go to the library and click a lot of the walls, you'll find a lot of the story. And a lot of people have gotten back to me with fan mail on this stuff, and that has just been awesome. And it is a vehicle that's bigger than most people would realize, especially for advertising, because I don't have to pay anything for that advertising, and people talk to me and tell other people about elements of my story. And that alone gives a really good role-playing game with a really good story a lot more life.
So you're trying to build something that advertises itself, and as opposed to you having to try to go out and beat the drum for it.
No. I wasn't really trying at all. It just happened to happen that way. I think that I still have to beat the drum for it. That's still like a huge part of my job. But I love it, and it's something that I can do that I'm really proud of right now. And I talk about a lot of my past stuff, like I did that stuff.
Okay.
But that was great. That was great stuff I did. But this, to me, I'm so charged about it. I'm so excited about it.
Cool.
And it makes it a lot. It makes it a lot easier to be the evangelist.
Yeah.
When you've got something that you love, and I cannot thank my fans enough. I mean, my fans are fantastic. They're very patient with me, and a lot of them have gotten the fact that it's just one guy making everything, and that's usually rare for them. So they've been really patient with me, and I enjoy it.
Very cool. So what code library did you use in the game?
Code library.
Yeah, like what did you use? Did you use Lime? What other?
I did not use Lime. I used Rosetta.
Rosetta, okay. Because
which is now GG.
Well, darn it, we lost him again.
Uh-oh. We're getting really good stuff here in between the losses.
Yeah, he's got some great energy.
Yeah, he does. He's very passionate about it. I love it. It's very cool. I like that I lead him into the whole, it's all planned out. And he, no, not at all.
Can we see this? I'm surprised he hasn't held up his game yet.
Yeah,
live action game.
Yeah, it's very cool. The kids, I just downloaded it and like this weekend, and was playing with it, and I'm kind of addicted to it already. And the kids have picked it up and they're playing with it. I mean, it's easy to pick up and get started, right? So, but it's
definitely got that old school feel.
Yeah. The one thing that I didn't know that I had to get Eric to tell me was that when you go to fight monsters and stuff, you have to swipe on the screen.
The swiping.
Yeah, because I was looking. I mean, because it's got that control pad that you had there. It's all there, and
pretty much never made it out of the forest.
You never made it out of the forest.
Or the first dungeon there.
Oh, the dungeon. Okay, I was gonna say I haven't hit the forest yet. I was still in
You
the dungeon.
walk through a little bit of woods to get it, if I remember right, to get into the dungeon.
No, I always start out in the dungeon. I guess I'm doing something wrong. Maybe I'm picking the wrong character. I always picked like the wizard or whatever. So.
I think he's back.
So could I interrupt for a second? And I have an announcement to make.
Sure, go ahead.
So Corona Labs is going to support the Commodore 64 as its next platform.
That was one.
And then after that, we're going to support the Atari 800.
Yeah, there you go.
Yay!
Retro is in, guys.
What about my TI 99 4A?
Yeah, and the PD11 and the Altair, whatever that was, that computer was.
Oh yeah.
Back when.
Yeah.
So we're going to support all of those.
But can I run it on my TRS-80?
Walter, you have to get some of the guys that do the great graphics on the front page to put that as one of the rolling things.
Oh,
I should.
That would have been.
You know what? I'm gonna have our new web guy do that right now.
That would be awesome.
That would have been great for April Fools. We should have done that for.
I had an Intellivision back when I was young. I don't even know if you guys know what that is. It's
Sure.
Coleco?
Intellivision. It was like made by like Mattel or something crazy like that. Anyway, I think we should support that also.
Absolutely.
When are we gonna get light
Amiga.
guns?
We should support the Amiga.
Oh God, the Amiga.
You're just rolling them. You're rolling them all out, aren't you? Wow.
We're gonna support all of
You're
those
bringing
guys.
back
Those are
one
the most
button.
important platforms to support, guys. Huge money to be made. But I have a special treat for you guys. I don't know if this will show up correctly on my camera, but because the frame rate probably the camera is slower than the frame rate on my phone. But this is 5,000 fish running at 60 frames a second on my iPhone.
Sweet.
This is
wow.
the just to give you a hint as to the performance that you're going to get on the new graphics engine. It's completely shader based. Actually, in the GDC, I was playing with some 2.5D effects. They're going to make it really easy for you. So imagine that you had a rectangle, and you can distort the rectangle just by moving the corner. Say, I want to displace the corner by some degree, and it'll still make the rectangle look like it's in perspective, and it'll still honor all the things you're used to. So we're really excited about trying to get this out. It's still early, so I can't give you anything yet, but trying to give you guys really cool stuff. So I just want to pop in and give you guys a quick demo. Sorry to interrupt you, Eric, on your thing. But
No. My Alienware lost it. My computer dumped, so it was actually perfect.
But, anyway,
except that I missed.
Hi. We are also busy with the next public release, so I'm gonna jump back in with the team and try to get that out to you guys soon. But just wanted to pop in and say hi really quick. Happy April Fools. And we are still looking for the most interesting developer in the universe.
Yeah.
So I'll close out. I'll close out. And so we actually have a form where you can submit, and people have been submitting some really cool, interesting universe ideas. One guy, let's see if I can find a good one. Give me one sec. Sorry, Charles. I know I'm taking some of your precious time. Let's see. Okay, one guy said, I'm so awesome that all the app stores give me a 30% cut of their 30% cut.
Nice.
He also goes on to say that Apple emails me a ready for sale notification before I even uploaded the binary.
That's pretty awesome.
So another guy says, I turn coffee into code. I don't know. Anyway, there's some pretty good ones. I'm going to post some of these later just to share them with the community. I think they're pretty funny. But anyway, just have fun, guys. I just want to
awesome.
So happy April Fools. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Thank you.
See you later.
That was a great segue.
Perfect timing.
Except I missed all the announcements because I was offline trying to figure out how to get back online. I was like, okay, come on, Alienware, what's going on? So I don't know what time you guys lost that. Was I talking about about the other programs like GitHub and stuff?
You were talking about you were talking about Rosetta and yeah.
So again, I can't. The glitch games guys are fantastic. Like all the glitch games guys.
Yeah,
I don't know if you.
Yeah, they're gonna be doing a hackathon in May or something like that.
That's right, and I'm into it, and I think everyone else should get into it because it's huge.
raise your hand if you're going to be there, or do it.
Yeah.
I'm doing it. What do you guys? What do we get? 1, 2. Wait, they're all up. 1, 2, 3.
Oh.
Yeah, it's gonna be brutal. But those are great times to sketch out bare bones games. Depending on how good you sketch out the bare bones game, if you think, oh, I can finish this game in about a month, you probably need to add 13. But
You're on there. You're doing right.
Right. But that's the thing, though. If you get to that percent where it feels like, oh, it just really quickly could be put together as a game, that's really important. And that's one thing with Corona. Again, I'll say, I was able to do in like 3 or 4 days. I was super shocked that it was just sprite lock and a little bit of programming knowledge about tables. But a lot of that 3 or 4 days came because I went to the IRC channel. And the IRC channel, I don't know if people out there that are listening don't know what an IRC channel is. It's Freenode, the hashtag Freenode, and then Corona. And one day we had it says due to the number of participants, this hangout is muted. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Yeah. Okay, good. I don't know why it says that. But yeah, we had when you get on the IRC channel, you can like ask questions, you can get involved, you can talk about code, you can learn about code too. Do you know Stinky Kitty Ray? Everybody?
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. Everybody knows Stinky Kitty Ray. He has an awesome app that that's the shirt.
That's the shirt.
And he's my boy. He's awesome. He made of course Stinky Kitty Slots. It was a fantastic slot machine game, but it's Torque 2D. This is before he came over. And so now he's Corona, and he has a real interesting IRC app. Have any of you guys seen this?
Mm-mm. No.
It's an actual IRC app you can run on your phone. You need to press him and bug him about that. Big shouts out to that guy. And if I wasn't supposed to mention it, then my bad. But he actually did Questlord early mention release, and I was freaking out like, oh my God, why'd you? And so Questlord actually became a soft launch on accident for Android. But I got a lot out of that, actually. I was able to start to get traction on the game itself, and that was interesting. Because another thing I want to stress is like I banged the drum on Questlord really hard and really long for a long period of time. You know what I mean? And I think that's very important when you want to launch something.
Yeah, that's what we keep. The conversations at the expos and things like that keep coming back around to marketing because I think the developers get the SDK and they understand how to develop. It just becomes a marketing conversation after that because it's
and there's no amount of app program. No disrespect to my friends over at Tap for Tap or any of those other app companies that make apps that you switch around, and it's like here, click on my game, you get your game, and stuff like that. No disrespect to those guys, but there are two different worlds that they need to be really clear about when it comes to games getting the press that Questlord happened to get. I got a lot of press because of the actual product slipping through to the editor, and the editor finding something about it that he liked and felt worthy of writing about. I think that if you put too many ads on your games, you're putting yourself at risk from other editors who don't want to be just slopping your ads around. So you really are kind of making it so that you're cheapening your brand, so to speak.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, but it's kind of a fact.
Mm-hmm.
And a couple of my buddies, some of my friends, they have great success with it. Like I'm friends with the guys at Nimblebit, and they just released an awesome game. I'm gonna name drop it. It's the Snake game, NimbleQuest. Like NimbleQuest, and it's just a simple free game, but it's excellent quality, and it's gonna just get zillions. But you know what I'm saying? It's like
this is a common kind of type thing, and it's not just the game industry. I mean, even online on websites,
right.
People have to balance that all the time between putting ads on their site or just having a product or a service
right.
that they sell. And sometimes
propose before they go through the ad route. Exhaust all your avenues, I would say, with your target audience, and that's the most important thing to come to grips with. Who is your audience? I know everyone wants everyone to be the audience. Everyone wants, everybody's my audience, but when you're making a brand, you have an audience.
Right.
You have to be able to get in front of that audience and do your song and dance routine. Because we're basically like entertainment vacuum cleaner salesmen from the 50s living in a sci-fi world. You know, that's basically what we are. We're trying to sell our game. And you want to get in front of people. Like, I noticed my video resonated immediately and had 40 to 50-year-olds watching my video were like the second, and 30 to 40 was the first. And then I got the 20-year-old kids. So I'm not even selling to the 20-year-old young crowd. You know, I'm not even I was hitting good numbers on my YouTube site. So that's who I got in front of. I joined role-play game forums, you know, and I talked to people in role-playing game forums. I made a lot of blogs towards my audience. And I go to Twitter and I tweet with a bunch of people in that audience. You know what I mean? I follow people who are from that audience. So it's getting in front of your target audience, I'd say, is much more important than getting an app system that shows up a picture that, you know, and then worrying about, well, how can I get the money on that? Because I think if you get your target audience talking, it's far better advertising vehicle.
Yeah, well, and I think what you're also trying to say maybe is that if you're focusing on the wrong thing, you're going to get the wrong results, right?
Yes, totally. And unfortunately, I know a lot of people who have great apps that don't get in front of their audience and target them.
Yeah.
You know, and you can even. I'm sorry. What's that?
So I wanted to ask you, did you pre-market? So did you start marketing before?
Oh yeah. I totally did. If my computer was a little better, and I'm sorry about this, guys. My computer's kind of weak.
No, you're fine.
It kicks me off a lot when I want to jump into another window to show you something on my screen. I'm not going to do that anymore. It's like, but I did. I actually made buttons galore, tons of pins and buttons. I think I have some. Yeah, here's one. I don't know if you're going to see it, but it's a little button.
Further out, further back.
It's got a shield on it.
There you go.
It's got a little shield on it, and you could get them online, and everyone who signed up to my email would get one. Would get a bag of them. I know Matt's in Sweden. I'm still going to have to send yours out. But interestingly enough, though, I gave out prizes, and some of my prizes were, your prize would be, you'd be an NPC in the game, like a non-player character. And I could give out all these cool prizes to people, and it would get them talking about it, and it would just escalate. And I have a friend now named Matt who worked on one of the characters in the game, because he won the prize, you know, because I randomly picked through my email list, or my email sign-up list every week for a while. And his prize, he pixelated his own character. He loved it. You know, and he was a really good pixel artist too. That's why I loved doing it. He showed me his portfolio, and I was like, "Oh, that's really great. Hey, you want to be a character in the game? You know, that you actually make." And so he even gave me a little backstory, and I put it into my backstory of, you know, my huge game. And actually, the story of my game, like right now, even though it's ready to translate, I'm still having issue getting it translated because it's so huge. It's 15,000 words of text in my game. That's a lot. It's a huge JSON file.
Cool. So you're going. Where are you trying to convert it to? Who are you going to support?
Oh, what's interesting, I've got like a lot of people looking at it right now. Interesting. Q Games, Bill and Cuthbert from Q Games, who a lot of you guys might know him from Star Fox fame. Bill from Q Games, Star Fox. He's actually looking at it right now in Japan. So, and I think there's a big interest in Japan for it. And there's a really big interest in Germany for it. Although a lot of the Germans bought it anyway. But
interesting.
Looking at my numbers, looking at my numbers, I'm going to have some big news about Questlord update coming out. So that's probably going to be part of that system. But it takes a while because, I mean, it's a big story. It's a really long story.
Okay.
I'm just really grateful that I used GG Dictionary to begin with. Because it's a lot easier now to shop around for someone than it is to build a system and shop around.
So how did you create your sounds for the game? I noticed it.
That was awesome. I used an iPad. Garage games? No, not garage games. Garage Band.
Garage
Band. That's what it's. Garage Band. Of course. And what else? Just noises like plastics when you freeze. I would like. You know, like
the basic Foley Studio approach.
Yeah, and I just bounced around, and I made some of the music with GarageBand. But I did contract out one $120 score, and I contracted the $120 score out for ownership rights. So that's why I paid so much for that, which is actually a good price because I think it's fantastic, and a great guy from Spain who made it and composed it.
Awesome. So that was just an
Carlos Gomez.
That was just an individual that you contracted for it, or you went?
Carlos Gomez. Carlos Gomez did that, and that was the only other thing other than that I had, like sound wise. Other than my fiance, a lot of her contributing. Like she was the mosquito in the swamp. She loves it. And it kind of made some problems too because she would like love the characters of the game so much. I think I might even actually have. Yeah, she actually knitted them. Like she would knit them. It makes stuffed animals. She'd be like, he's so cute, and then she'd be horrified when you had to whack through a horde of them with your sword. You know, it's like I don't want to kill him. He's so cute. And a lot of that gave me the idea to make talk to animals part of my game. And my game is really traditional. I have a quest system where you get quests and it pushes you along. And all those guys complained, you know, oh, there's not enough waypoints, there's not enough exclamation marks above the head and stuff like that. So I put in check marks and stuff on my map so you could find the quest giver and the quest end, right? But all of those guys are so chit-chatty and they talk to you about this huge story about the Shattered Realm. And a lot of the story is blocked off. Or actually, the last quest is blocked off with some actions that you have to do that it never tells you to do, except it suggests that you do it in the story. You know what I mean? It suggests, you know, someone's... Yeah,
so you have some Easter egg stuff there, then? Is that what you're saying?
The entire ending of the game is a big Easter egg. But it's told to you in, like, old-school fashion story. You know, the guys from Touch Arcade were like, oh my god, this is just an old-ass PC game. It's fantastic. You know, that's the whole point. That's the charm of it. You know, the charm of it is it doesn't have a skill tree. You know, if you learn a skill in my game, there's a story behind why you learned the skill. And someone will come out and tell you the skill, such as, you know, you found the amulet of Tangi. And in the library, there's a backstory about Haida and Tangi getting into arguments all the time, these two wizards. And one of the wizards made the Speak to Animals necklace. And you have to have the Speak to Animals necklace to get like really far in the game and talk to a lot of these animals. And that my fiance really loved that part of it because, you know, she loves the animals in it. She's like, oh, that's so cute. I'm like, hack. No, it's not. It's evil. So it was really fun using the story element. And again, the story element was a huge advertiser in itself because it, you know, I pushed people all the way along this game. Then I'm like, okay, I hope you're paying attention. And a lot of them weren't. And a lot of them were like, well, what do I do with this and that? And, you know,
it's interesting that you say that because I mean I keep noticing that the term casual games, you know, casual gaming, it doesn't really that term embodies the fact that you don't really invest that much into it. You know, you can take it or leave it. You can start playing something and then you can just drop it, right? I mean, you're sitting at the doctor's office, you can play like 30 seconds worth of something and your name is called and you're off, right? But but Questlord has a lot more, like you say, you're invested in the storyline and the characters and stuff, so it has a lot more value to it.
Yeah, exactly. And a lot of the people that get lost say that getting lost is part of the pain that they love about it. Yeah, and a lot of people that play my game play it exactly the way you said, in the casual way, and they'll put it down, and then they'll pick it back up.
Yeah, exactly. Because you start.
And I think that was really hard though, man. I had to make the save. I had to use the save system. Save system I just did into JSON.
By the way, I like that you use a big old 3.5-inch disc for the save.
Oh yeah, right. I definitely want to, as many turns, remind people what the limitations of my game were.
Yeah.
And what they should get as expectations.
Yeah, I also
and the amount of people that like I think appreciated that I think worked because if I would have been like because I have Lava Level and Eric Kinkead and I think if I would have been like it's a Lava Level thing, it's a studio, my studio, I think a lot of people would have just been pretty harsh. But going as a game created by Eric Kinkead, everyone's a little more forgiving it seems, and showing the big floppy drive while it's loading. You know, it's like, okay, it actually has a load time. Well, why does an iPhone game need to have a load time? Well, it's got a floppy disk. It's great.
Yeah.
I think they kind of eased it up a bit, you know?
That's hilarious. Yeah, I love it.
I can still imagine some kids out there watching this, looking at your game, going, "What the hell is that?"
What's that?
Yeah, you know, and I get that too. I got like a lot of my 1-stars are like that. Like a lot of the 1-stars, the impatient people. And this is another thing because my game right now is doing well. It's a 4.5-star game in all markets that it's in. But I'm going to have to drop it. I'm going to have I'm not sure when I'm going to do it. I haven't announced it. But I'm going to have a sale. I'm going to have a big sale. But the sale is going to be interesting because the sale is going to be like the test of my mettle, so to speak. Because it's going to open up an entire new level of customers that's willing to invest more money. Because people that buy my game, they want to play it. You know, it's $1.99. They're not the 99-cent. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. Okay, cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I really think that inviting the 99-cent crowd in is actually going to knock me down a star. Because a lot of people are just going to be impatient and not understand it. But we'll see, and that's going to be a fun challenge. And to do that challenge, I am prepared to meet my customers with more animations, more monsters, more storyline, and an extra when I come out with the update. But that will also come out with the sale. So people that were early investors for $1.99, they will feel rewarded. And the people who are coming on board might have more stuff to chew on as to why they can't stand it. But for right now, it's 4.5 stars.
Awesome. So any timeline on when you think that'll be?
I can't say right now.
Okay. All right.
Soon, though.
All right.
It's in development. That's in development.
Okay.
Give us that thumbs up again.
Questlord. That's a
Okay, got it.
Oh, you got my Snoopy Band-Aid. I got cats. I got to put on Band-Aids when the cats get me. No, so I really love the Corona community, and I hope if anyone has any questions that are technical, like, hey, what did you do on this? Hey, how'd you do this? How'd you do that? Feel free to get to me on one of the Facebook groups. Or on this Corona Geek thing, I'll be following up if there's any comments.
Okay.
I like to talk to developers and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. Well, thanks for sharing all the information that you've shared so far. It's been great. I've loved hearing all about it. So.
Man, I really appreciate it.
What before we head out here, we got a couple of things we want to talk about, but I wanted to ask what's some of your favorite old school games? I know we kind of mentioned some of them in the beginning. Like if you had to name one game, what would it be?
One game, Ultima 3.
Okay. Okay.
One game, Ultima 3, which is, I think, Richard's least favorite.
What about Ultima 5?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh.
So I loved Ultima 3. You know, it's kind of the period piece, you know, because like I have a hard time wrapping myself around Final Fantasies, because when I played Final Fantasy, I mean, I was already like so above the kiddiness factor because I was like so hardened by these Ultima games that the Ultimas stayed my favorite. And even amongst a lot of Ultima guys, it's like, you know, oh, that one's my favorite because of this and that. But you've made a good series when you got people just arguing over your series, like which one's their favorite. So I think that's, you know, inherent, like in the process of making it the best advertising.
And tell us where people can find more information about Questlord.
Questlord.com. And yes, I fell out of my chair when that was available.
Yeah.
When I went to registry, what? Okay, call my lawyer. We got the game name. We got the game name.
I know. I saw that you had that domain. I thought, man, he either lucked out or he had to buy that off of somebody. That's awesome.
No, that was some fast maneuvering. Fast maneuvering. Thank you so much, and thanks to all my fans that bought my game. I appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks to the non-fans who bought my game and give me 1 stars. I'll look into it. Thanks for the people that have bought my game and love it and hate it.
Awesome.
Really appreciate them all.
Awesome. Well, before we jump out of here, I've got a few other things I want to talk about. Brian, you said your book is available for sale. And that's burtonsmediagroup.com, right? Is that the best place to go?
Yeah, for right now, I'm still working on getting the new book into EPUB and Mobi formats and on the other stores, so that'll be still a little while. So if you want the early release, you need to go to my website.
And I got to say, if you're considering getting Brian's early release, I would highly recommend it. I got his, I can't remember which one it is now, but I got one of your early books on early release, and I really enjoyed having it available. And then later when you came with the updates and stuff like that, I got a copy of it later as well. So there was never a moment where
That's right.
Where I felt like I was deficient in any way. I mean, I got the book. It was like, it's better than Amazon pre-order, because when Amazon pre-order, all you're really doing is give them your money, and you don't really have a product in your hand. Whereas here, you actually have the product in your hand, and you get the update later on. So that's cool.
Right, and you get all the formats. You're not limited to just PDF. You can have the EPUB and the Mobi formats as well.
That's right. And Brian will come to your house and wash your car.
Well,
no, you said it. And
I would take that offer.
What's that? Take that offer? Yeah, no doubt.
I would take that offer.
That's right. It's been a long
Especially in Texas.
That's right, exactly. Yeah, you're close enough to me, Brian. We can work that out.
we can work something out. Good thing it's April 1st.
Yeah, hey. And also over at Roaming Gamer, we've got some things going on, right?
Yeah, I don't have anything quite ready yet. Didn't make my one item a week release date, but I do have a Sudoku template coming out, and I've been spending the rest of the time. I left Intel 15 months ago to do this game development thing, and I promised people I was going to keep them up to date. I'm going to keep you up to date. I never kept them up to date, so I'm writing a long article about what it's been like for the past 15 months.
Oh, very cool.
So that'll be also coming out here today or tomorrow.
Oh, good. I'll have to look for that. I'm going to share that out when I see it. And so, yes, if you want to go to roaminggamer.com/makegames, then you can find out. You can find Ed's template library there. He's got a lot of great stuff. And so I've got a few of them here that I was picking through this weekend. As a matter of fact, I'm looking for nice little code bits and things to start making some videos for Corona Geek. Not of your code, but ideas for things. Also, we've got this week's T-shirt winner. We need to go ahead and announce that. If I can get the scroll to work here, we need to announce.
Is it pie again?
Is it? No. I've departed from that method of selection.
Not 7?
Yeah, no.
Or 12?
No. All right, this week's winner is Patrick Fawn. Patrick is he learned about us on Corona, the Corona Labs newsletter, and then he followed us on Facebook, and then he went over to coronageek.com/giveaway and entered for a chance to win a T-shirt. And so he did that back in January, and I've drawn his name out of the proverbial hat, and so Patrick will be getting a shirt, and I'll be emailing you about that later on. So thank you for following the show and putting your name in the hat to win a T-shirt, and we appreciate your support. So thanks for that. So if you want to win a chance to win a T-shirt, go over to coronageek.com/giveaway and just follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Google+, YouTube, whatever you want, and fill out the form and let us know how we're doing and what you want us to talk about. All right, guys, I think that's a good show for today. That's a lot. We had some technical issues in the beginning, kind of rough start, but I think it's a good, long, meaty show. So Eric, thanks for sharing all that stuff with us, and everybody, thanks for being on the panel, and thanks for that right there. Everybody, get your parting gifts now.
All right.
What the heck is that? Is that another character from the show? From the story?
Questlord? No, I made the Manticore in my game, and my fiance got me this loving present.
Oh, okay.
Again, if you've just been full-time doing it, I'd really like to talk to Doug from Intel, for sure. There's a link on there, right? To your blog spot that's coming out? Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it will be.
Yeah.
Sorry, I was busy.
Yeah, if you go to roaminggamer.com, you can subscribe to his RSS feed, right? Right, Ed?
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
Sweet, I'm doing that now. Thank you guys so much. It was so fun hanging out and talking to all you guys.
Don't leave just yet. Don't leave just yet.
Okay.
Because they got some after questions. But everybody, thanks for joining us today. You can be back here next Monday at the same time, 12 p.m. Pacific time. And we will be back here on Corona Geek doing another talk through on mobile game development using Corona SDK. Thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you next week.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
See ya.